Doing the fun, upbeat intro today on Thursday, November 13th. Dave comes back from vacation. This is what happens. This is what happens to people. You go on vacation. Your body is like, this is great. This is what life should be. This is awesome. And then you get sick because you get jammed back into the real world like a car crash.
Tony, I think it's just all the letdown, like catching up on sleep, catching up on all that stuff.
It's how it's supposed to be. Good morning. I'm on my second espresso this morning because I made my first one. I've got an espresso machine. I do the same thing every morning. I'm a creature of habit. I'm nothing if not predictable. And I did everything with the pod and the this and the this. And then I walk away and I hear the machine and I'm like, oh, I'm early. I'm going to be there before Tony. I hear the machine. It finishes. I turn around. The machine's done. I never put a cup down, Tony. That's where I'm not really a creature of habit. So I had to make another one, but we're one deep. It's PPS week, Tony.
I know. We're not there.
We're not there. And I think it was 2 years ago. I think I pitched a crazy idea on this podcast. If we had interns right now, I'd be like, go back, find the tape, find the transcript, bring up the clip right now where Jimmy said, you know what we should do? We should live stream from there. And I love using like examples from similar things, like do the Pat McAfee show live from PPS every damn day, because I don't know what it is. 1,500 people go to the PPS conference. A lot of people can't because they're running their own business. They can't just take off 2 or 3 days because of it, right? They're the people who might need it the most, who ironically can't go because they can't afford it, time, money, whatever. Sometimes family obligations, right? But what if you could live stream it and give them a little bit? If I were PPS, I'd go, let me give everybody a little bit. Let me give everybody like I'm Aunt Annie's pretzels. I'm going to give them little tastes until they're like, it's just when it hits your lips. Now I need to go. And I said, let's set up a broadcast studio and stream live. And one of my biggest problems is I like to throw ideas out, and I'm desperately waiting for someone to go, yes. And then we lock arm in arm like Hansel and Gretel, and we go do the idea, right? But what people like Tony show me is like, you have to just take the idea, and you have to just go. Like, no one's coming with you. No one's going to clap until you succeed. You should just do it. And here's my proof of concept. Thank you, Prompt, for proving me right. This was one of their stories yesterday, and it came up, and I was like, wait a minute, what's that? They did half my idea anyway, and I'm betting they're going to do the other half, or they should be. And the image I'm showing on my live stream is of like a podcast studio or a video studio, full interview set, looks like Oprah, boom mics. There's like 1, 2, 3. I see three people off camera, essentially creating media with one on-air host and a guest. So this was like 80% of, and nobody had called me crazy for doing this. No, people did call me crazy. I pitched this to several people looking for them to fund us to go, not even to make a ton of money. I was just like, just cover it. I'm telling you, this is going to be proof of concept, and everybody's going to be doing this 2 to 3 years from now. And we're not there yet, but I think we will be. So what are your thoughts when I shared this in the group chat?
First, for people that can see it, I swear that was you. I thought that was you holding the boom arm.
I thought that was me
for the mic. I've never seen Drew, so I assume Drew was the guy at the camera. And I was like, wait, I know Jimmy's not a PPS. What is going on? What am I missing? I think the thing with this is Prompt made it work. Prompt didn't wait for APTA. Prompt didn't wait for somebody else. I'm sure somebody in Prompt just was like, let's just go do this. We're going to set it up. We're going to pay for it all. We're going to do it all. And this goes back to like the conversation we had on Tuesday. This goes back to conversation every therapist has had when they're talking about marketing. Like, you can't make an ideal client do what you want them to do unless they're already doing it.
Wait, what does that mean? Say that again. You can't make
you can't make an ideal client, your ideal client. You can't make them do something unless they're already doing it, and like, I can sell a treadmill to somebody who wants to walk. They're not going to walk. Joey Albritton the other day said something about people selling wellness. We know that it doesn't work in the sense that people aren't just all of a sudden going to become healthy. Smokers know they shouldn't smoke. Like, these are things. If I want to sell golf training, I sell it to people who are already buying golf training.
Yeah.
If I want to sell a BMW, I sell it to somebody who already owns a Mercedes. I don't sell it to somebody who's riding a bike. You
Yeah.
know, so this I'm sure, and now I'm putting words in their mouth, I'm sure the APTA has known about digital media for decades. They've never really invested in any of it. Prompt was the one that said, I'm guessing, we'll take on the responsibility, we'll take on the cost because this is what's important. We're going to make you do it. We're going to drag you kicking and screaming.
But they get all the roses then, because Prompt is gonna, this is their IP. They're not, they might say we're live from PPS, but I mean, they might be nice and give them some stuff to share. Dead honest, even if they gave them some reels to share to PPS, I don't know the PPS would share them.
Right.
It's the funniest. Right. It's the funniest thing. So I pitched the idea. I'll give the full pitch again so I can say I did it in 2025. And hopefully we're doing something. I'm going to immediately start working on this. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's Prompt. Because again, following Tony's paradigm, you don't try to sell it to someone who's not doing it. They've already bought in, so jump. Okay. So the pitch was, and I don't know that it's the case this year, but if you're at PPS, I would like to know. In the hall where all the sponsors were, where Tony and I were walking around with just phones last year doing quick interviews, there was this secondary stage in the expo hall. And from my understanding, if you were a sponsor of a certain level, you got to pick a half-hour block to sort of do an impromptu presentation. A lot of people took the opportunity to sort of turn it into a pitch, right? If you're an EMR, if you're a product, they had some flat screens for you to plug a laptop in and do some, to have some slides or whatever. And there was a microphone. And I was standing there. But remember, it's a busy room. And there was no one saying, hey, everybody, now it's time. It was in fact a time when the expo hall was open. So it was a busy room. It was like trying to get people in Times Square to pay attention, which is fine.
It was right around lunchtime because I remember I had a plate with lunch on it.
Yes. So they were doing that all the 2 to 3 days of PPS. My spin for PPS, this is what I pitched PPS. I said, hey, listen, keep that. Give added value, which in marketing talk is like free stuff for what you're already paying for. It's going to make the value side feel higher. So what I said was, I'll come down there. You can give these companies who are allowed to walk on stage an option of having the stage completely to them. Maybe they have a really well-spoken CEO. Do your thing. Or you can have someone like me or Tony or Dave come up there and be your host. Be someone to play against. Give me 6 questions. I will ask them to you. So all you have to do is answer. We both know that's easier and it flows better and doesn't take a lot of practice. Hey, these are the 6 questions you want to ask? Great. You know what? I'm going to go to AI. I'm going to write a quick intro for you. So now you walk up and you're the hero. Jimmy's the guide, right? And then I said to PPS, and then I'll bring the equipment. I'll bring the Drew and we'll live stream this because now follow me, mathematicians. There are more people not at PPS than there are at PPS. And right now you have the people at PPS's nickels. You've got all their nickels. They paid for the ticket and they're going to go to the things at night and the sponsors are glad to have them. Except mathematically, there are gajillions of more people not at PPS. So how do you own some of their eyeballs? How do you make them so FOMO that they want to come next year or 2 years from now, that they look at it like a thing that I'm going to save all my nickels and eventually I'm going to go to PPS one day. One day. I'm going to go to PPS. I've got my PPS poster on the wall above my bed. And I pitched this and everyone sort of looked at me. And again, this happens to me a lot. No one said no. No one said yes. Everyone's like, yeah. They sort of look at it like a turd on the carpet at Thanksgiving. Like, I don't know what we're going to do with that. I'm not going to touch it, but I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. So I'm not knocking PPS either because no one else is doing this. This is asking them to jump 3 or 4 or 5 steps. But I'm telling you, in 2025, and we said it last year in 2024, this will be a thing. And we're looking at Prompt doing, I think, 80% of the thing right there. This looks like they're not live. It looks like, from what I'm seeing in their equipment, they're recording, not live streaming. Still a power move, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I think what you lose and what we see there it's obviously produced. It's, going to be like highest definition and perfect audio and all that stuff. You lose the authenticity. You lose the relatability. Don't turn it into just another APTA commercial.
Right.
They've been doing that for decades. None of that has ever worked.
Right.
Let's like bring in social media, true social media. Let's have conversations. Let's like really talk to people as opposed to record the interview. I don't know if they're going to do both. We'll see.
The funniest part is, so I have to yes and you. The other thing you're losing is it's November 13th and they're shooting on November 12th and 13th and 14th. This won't come out for 2 to 3 weeks, a week if you're lucky, right? The funniest part, I mentioned this yesterday. Dave's a big baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan. You're a baseball fan. You tell me that this game was recorded 2 days ago, I suddenly lost interest. If I'm scrolling and I'm like, oh, Yankees are playing Blue Jays, I'm like, cool. From 2 days ago. Now I'm like, I'll just go, hey, Siri, what was the score from the Yankees Blue Jays game 2 years ago? They lost. Moving on. I'm good. Got the result. So there is, I got to talk to my friend Jamie, the psychologist. There's got to be like some sort of like already proven idea of why this has value in the moment and has less value in the moment later. I don't know what it is, but it's there. So you lose that. And then 3 weeks from now, moving on, the news cycle changes every 5 to 6 days, right? You miss the opportunity to capitalize on PPS week. Turn PPS week into fucking Shark Week, right? Steal an idea, do the Pat McAfee show live from PPS. That's one way to steal something that a familiar concept in an unfamiliar place. Steal Shark Week. We're going to release a full-length, you had to be recording this 2 to 3 months ago. We're going to release full-length pre-con lessons from PPS. We're going to be releasing them all week leading up to PPS. I don't know, man. This feels like a miss. I feel like 5 years ago, I needed to rant and rave and no one would pay attention to me. I feel like in 2025, I don't know. I think I have more people agreeing with me than disagreeing with me now, and I have to try less.
Since we're on the topic, there are two kind of APTA related posts worth discussing. One is a conversation that's going on TikTok about PTs moving into primary care physical therapy. Have you seen some of the doctors, like physicians, MDs, and other healthcare providers and their interpretation of the way they read PTs becoming primary care providers?
No, but I love where this is going.
I'm sure you figured. Once again, what we got to figure out a better way to communicate. Like, guys, come on. And I thought the same thing. When I saw PTs want to be considered primary care providers, to me, primary care is my medical doctor who does my blood work, who checks my prostate, who does all of these things. It is not the physical therapist. Now, I understand PTs want to be able to order imaging, PTs want to do other things, and we want direct access, true direct access. The underlying message that not enough people talk about is, if we do get reclassified from an insurance perspective, our copays go from specialist to primary care provider, and it's usually a lot less. So a $50 copay might go to $25. But in the media, that's not the way it comes across. The way it comes across is physical therapists want to be your medical doctor and want to do all of the things that your primary care medical doctor does. And then, of course, PTs are shocked. They're across social media, they're like, I can't believe you didn't read the article and you didn't research. No, nobody is going to research past the headline.
Read the headline.
They even get through that.
Be happy we read the headline, man.
So, I mean, I get it. We fought for direct access. We got direct access. It's not what we thought it was going to be. Now we're fighting for something we're calling primary care. There's got to be a better word for that, or name for that, or even primary musculoskeletal care.
Too many words.
Something like just what do
PT
you
first.
think? Huh?
They used PT first for a while. I mean, I love Angela. Just had her on my show. We should be messaging. We collaborate with primary care physicians as primary care MSK providers. Except you can't say that in a headline. So, like, I agree with you, Angela. Tony and I are saying we agree with you. It needs to be messaged better. Like, quite literally, not like the messaged better, all the different moving parts in the background. Quite literally, it should start with the message. Mr. Beast is famous for this. Why are we talking about Mr. Beast? We're talking about doctors and smart, serious people, because he understands if he can't write the headline, if his team can't design the thumbnail, they don't book the set. They don't make the video. And that's the first couple of times I heard that, I was like, that's ridiculous. And the more you look at it, it makes complete sense. If you can't walk into a Hollywood studio with what's called a log line, one sentence that explains the whole damn movie in one sentence, that's ridiculous. You can't explain a whole movie in one sentence. Sure you can. Give me a minute. I'll bring up 50 log lines of the top 50 movies from AMC, and you'll know every single movie from the log line. Because if you can't see it, no one's going to fund it. So I agree with you here, Angela. We should be messaging. We collaborate with, and I know Angela is probably screaming like, what I meant was, and I agree with, she's ridiculously smart. We collaborate with primary care physicians as primary care MSK provider. It's just too long. Okay, so she's agreeing. They want the collaboration. So we do agree this is a messaging problem, which is a good problem to have, except we sort of let the cat out of the bag now. And now you got to wash the stink of this off to then put that on. My only problem was a PT was probably in charge of messaging this. And I say that with all due respect. You wouldn't want a marketing person in charge of your PT. Then why that? Like, that's my guess. Did this started in Utah, right?
I think they were the first state to classify physical therapists. Yeah. I think what you said needs to be reiterated, because this permeates every aspect of life. Like, Mr. Beast doesn't make the video if he doesn't have the title and the thumbnail already done and already perfect. I won't get into a business unless I know that the business, that I can easily communicate the value of the business. I can sell it in a word or two. Like, I have the social media, it's a social media attractive business. I would not get into it if I didn't have those things in place already. Testing or, focus groups and stuff, that just never works, because you're collecting a bunch of people. They kind of know what you're looking for. It's a biased audience. I don't necessarily have the answer, but I would definitely say if somebody came to me, and my litmus test is my wife. My wife's been a PT 30 years, 20-something years. She came out of the bachelor's programs. Like, she's an amazing therapist. I would have told her, hey, what if I called you a primary care provider? She would have hated it. She would have flipped out. She's like, that's not what I do. I am a physical therapist. So I don't know. I just think we reopened the whole "you're not a doctor" argument. You're a doctor of physical therapy. You're not a doctor. Like, this whole wound is open again. It's just going to get worse.
This could be a great idea ruined by the message about how it's communicated. Just so happened to see a video from Jesse Cole? He's the guy. He's the Savannah Banana guy, right? Cole?
Yeah.
Jesse Cole. Ball. He got his first shot managing like a single A team or something like that at 23. And he was like, I shouldn't have done it. Like, 23, you don't get to be a GM at 23. And he gives props to the guy who gave him that shot. And he said this guy was very smart. And I think the lesson that the guy gave Jesse from the Savannah Bananas is important here. Jesse would say, I want to do a game night on a Tuesday, and I want to have a grandmother beauty contest. Ridiculous. I want to do a dig to China night where we bury treasure in the infield, and at the end of the game, we let people come out and dig up the infield. I want to start a game. I want to start a baseball game at midnight, and I want to call it Midnight Madness. So so Jesse was like Jimmy, pitching to the guy, looking for his approval. Jimmy desperately seeks approval. So did Jesse. The problem was he was pitching to this guy, and the guy would always come back with a question. Well, I don't know. What do you think? So now he hits the ball back over the net and goes, how do you're now responsible for this idea? Because if Jesse pitches to his boss and his boss says, go for it, his boss is the one that is responsible. Boss pushes it back to Jesse with a simple question. What do you think? How do you think this is going to go? What's it going to cost? Are we going to make that back and then some? Is this going to move the needle? Is this going to turn average fans into raving fans? So he always pushed back. So I think what I'm getting at here, long-winded story for a short comment, is if someone said, we're going to be primary care providers, What do you think the rest of the world is going to read when they read that? When they read that, who's they? Quite literally everybody except for you. Is this clear? Is this devastatingly clear? If the answer is not 100% hell yes, you don't do it. That's what Mr. Beast is saying. If I cannot understand what I'm going to get, if I give you a push play and 5 seconds, are you going to earn my 5 seconds? After that, are you going to earn 10 more and 10 more and 10 more? This is confusing. I'm not saying it's wrong. If you boil it down, we are primary, got it, but it's not clear. It's not concise. This is Angela's saying, but it's not concise.
And I would even say on the chiropractic side, I think it's well established. They are like the back pain people. But they're not, there are some that are trying to be what we would call primary care providers, primary for low back, whatever. They don't really use that language though. They've positioned themselves. Our challenge is we are so diverse, neuro, ortho, pediatric, geriatric, like all of these different subcategories and headings. We've just lost any kind of brand outside of, whatever the consumer heard from someone's aunt or uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Let me share this. This was another one I wanted to mention. So this has been floating through my Facebook feed, APTA, new report, administrative burden, 30%, longer wait times for pre-certifications, authorizations, things like that. Okay, so how do we take this? We're not going to change it. We can't control what the payer's doing. How do we turn something like this into an opportunity right now, like tomorrow? I know what do we do for this?
What would I do if I owned a clinic? Who am I?
Yeah. You're a clinic owner. You see this report come out. You know that there are frustrated patients. There are frustrated providers. You also know there's long wait times to get into physical therapy in the first place.
I would put up a digital LED sign outside my clinic with the estimated wait time to get an appointment in right now, or number of slots tomorrow.
Okay, so go ahead.
It would be updated in real time. The person at the front desk would be able to change that sign on the highway. Or if you wanted to get real big and real fancy, digital billboards. I got a buddy I should bring on. What you would think is like in real IRL marketing is dead. Of course it's not. It's just a pendulum flow, right? Everything was by digital ads and now it's swinging back. But you could buy a digital ad campaign to cover several counties with that sort of messaging and update the copy, update the imagery in real time.
So we have dropped insurance contracts when they moved to excessive, burdensome authorization requirements. We're generally the only people in town who accept all Medicaid plans, but there was a Medicaid plan that required the primary care the medical doctor, to actually submit the authorization request for physical therapy. Well, there was no way they were doing that. So we're like, all right, we're just dropping it. We don't get paid enough anyway. But when I see something like that, I go back to, I can battle it. I can advocate. I can do all of these things, write letters to my congressperson, I don't understand when the legal system became what it is, but I don't like what it is. Or I could just say, hey, if you're waiting on an authorization for 2 weeks, I can get you in this afternoon. Here's the price to come to physical therapy today, right now. Or wait 2 weeks. If it's not a priority, if it's not a big deal, wait 2 weeks, wait 5 weeks, go and see the in-network provider, go and see the contracted provider, let the insurance company pay. You might have a copay, pay $50 there, pay $150 here, but I'll get you in today. I mean, this is just opening, every one of these barriers is opening new opportunities for smaller specialty providers, niche clinics to say, we don't have to jump through all those hoops. Come see us right now. Come in an hour. I'm ready.
Dom Draper would drool over an image like this because he go, what you're doing is you're showing me all the pain things that if I can alleviate them, each one of these things should be a campaign. Prior authorization requirements can negatively affect patient outcomes. Can you get around that? If the answer is yes, run a campaign around it. Wait times for like anytime there's a pain, you should be living there. So Angela says, what about primary care for movement and pain? I think that's getting closer. I don't know if that's the got milk of physical therapy as primary care. So I asked my best friend ChatGPT, and the fifth suggestion was close to this, which was, I'll do the first one. Move first. We've had campaigns like that before. The problem, again, is move is really ambiguous, right? It's super ambiguous. What does move mean? It's different for everybody. Start with PT. Not bad, but when, right? That sort of leaves me open for a question. Get PT first, move forward. APTA and other people have had campaigns like that before. Your first move, sort of like it. It's cheeky. You'd have to build campaigns with visuals and ideas around it. This is like Aaron Burr. Remember the Aaron Burr commercial? The guy was like calling in, couldn't get it out, no milk, had the cookies in his mouth, right? It showed the pain. Like your first move, you'd need to supplement that with Real Men of Genius, the campaign from Bud Light, right? Real Men of Genius doesn't make any sense, but then you supplement it with something else. Think PT first, very similar with Get PT first. And then the one that's similar to what Angela just said is PT. First for pain, first for movement. That one's
like
not bad. I like that one. So see what happened, Angela? Your primary care for movement and pain, you can hear it now. When Angela's what about primary care for movement and pain is put next to PT, first for pain. I just butchered everything. PT, first for pain, first for movement. When they're put next to each other, they're very similar, but one is very, very different. One is a little more powerful. So I don't know.
The names that come to mind for me is I think of urgent care. Like there's an urgent care center across the street. Urgent care to me conveys exactly what it is. Like I can go there right now. It's not an emergency room. I'm not going there for medical management. I've got an acute injury. I sprained my ankle. I'm just going to run over to the urgent care. Little clinic from Kroger. So the grocery chain Kroger has little clinic inside. One of my boys is sick. He was sick 2 days now. We took him to little clinic just to get a quick strep. Like I know exactly what I need. I know exactly what I'm doing. We have a family doctor. I'm not going to go to the family doctor. I'm just going to go to the little clinic to get this quick thing. I kind of go back to there is no single term that's going to address all of us.
Right.
Like movement is one aspect. I love movement. I love exercise. But then you got somebody like Dave who's more manual based, and you've got these neuro-based therapists, and we've got all of these different subcategories. But I think as soon as you put the word primary care, that is owned by the medical doctor community. That is not going to be an easy mountain for me to climb over to try and communicate to the general population. We are not medical doctors.
Because you're going to need to have them. It needs to be an unlearn campaign, then a relearn campaign. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm only thinking of one or two organizations that have done it. The first is Sunday used to belong to the Catholic Church. Now the NFL owns Sunday. That's a culture shift. I can't think of another that's done it, right? Like this is simple, but not easy. So that's the reason. So I don't know, man. I mean, we're doing this live here, but PT, first for pain, first for movement, sounds like the idea that you could build a campaign around. Now that obviously does not fit every physical therapist though, right? Not every physical therapist is there for pain. Some are for performance. Some are for cardiovascular improvement. Some of their, neuro issues where there's no pain. So again, this is where APTA sections and academies, in my opinion, have strength. Could there be an overarching? That's what happens when you need to get a campaign that encapsulates something like PT. It has to be watered down because there's going to be someone who goes, well, that doesn't fit me. Look, that doesn't fit me. Pediatrics, first for pain. No, it's different. It's similar, not the same.
Yeah. Let's hit a new topic. Okay. Any other thoughts on your end about a topic you want to discuss?
We could build E&M codes as PCP. We can't build E&M codes like PCPs. Around this topic, I would say we can bridge. If you want to find that video that you tagged me in about the woman falling, I was looking for that a second ago.
Oh, the ad, yeah.
Yeah, the ad. So here's the bridge between what Tony's about to bring up and this topic. If you wait, and this is not a knock on APTA or any of the components, but if you wait for them, whoever them is, the bigger dog, to do it, and to do it how you want it done, and to do it where it's impactful to you, you'll be waiting too long. Like, there's no savior coming. Did I ever tell the boat story? I told the boat story.
I don't know. Tell it.
I was doing my prerequisites at Coastal Carolina University to go to PT school, because why not? Why not? Like, go do it in a beach town, live with your dad for free. And I was like, but I don't sit still well. I know that shocks you. So I was like, I'll be an ocean lifeguard and make $8 an hour to get paid to sit on the beach, though. So I'm doing that, and they're, putting us through like training. Listen, if there's someone drowning, swim as fast as you can, as hard as you can, give them the buoy and drag them in. But we were training on boats all day and jet skis. It was awesome. And then so we're doing jet skis, and they're flinging us around on jet skis, and we're jumping off boats like we're Baywatch, and they taught us how to run in slow motion. And then the next day we come there, and the guy and I won't do it because I can't do a South Carolina accent, but the instructor was like, "You see that buoy out there, 1,000 yards out?" And we're like, "Yeah, kinda." And he's like, your training today is go touch the buoy and come back. And one of the kids who was all hopped up on boats and jet skis was like, he's looking up and down the shore, "Where's the boat?" And the guy just like takes his like Baywatch sunglasses down and just goes, "You're the boat, get swimming." So that's my lesson, which no one's coming. There's no boat. There's no rescue, right? So if you want this message differently, if you're not happy with this and you're like, "Well, I'm going to bitch about it on Facebook. I'm going to podcast about it." It's not going to change. You need to listen to that, but then you need to do something about it. All right. So this is someone owning their message.
All right, go ahead and share the video, share it. I'm going to turn on the audio. And this is just a random, roller massage thing for your back. On this, you've got the soothing background music, kind of elevator music. You've got the mom, the child on the floor. She's bending over, coming up in pain, grimace. She falls back onto this massaging device, and she just instant relief. I look at this as an ad, and they do this for multiple things. It's not just the mom. They do this for a truck driver who's getting out of his truck. They do it for a golfer who's swinging a golf club. I'm like, I still don't see physical therapy ads that look like this, that clearly convey a message. It's, your back hurts. We have the solution for that hurt. And it's as simple as laying down, that's it.
They never even said, "Does your back hurt?" They said it with her face. That's where that's the inception moment. Look, she stood up from playing with the kid in 1.5 seconds, had that look on her face that we've all had. She held her back like we've all done. And then she fell into this roller. Tony, how many rollers are included on that device? How many amps of power? How many patents go into it? How many how many levels of the spine does it touch? They don't mention any of that. You want to know why? No one freaking cares. They care.
Right.
Am I going to feel that look on her face without this device and look at her in the end? They don't need to say, "I went to school for 37 years to be an engineer before I designed this device." They said a lot without saying anything. And they only said the important thing. And the things that they said were about the woman in the ad. And the woman in the ad that's me. It's a personification. I see that. And then they did a different ad for truck drive. Oh, look at that. They didn't try to make one ad appeal to everybody, because that doesn't freaking work. So she is the audience, this part of the audience, and the truck driver is the part of the audience. Tony, if you're not a truck driver, let's say you're a guy a construction worker, right? You don't drive trucks all day. You can sort of see yourself in the truck driver, though, right?
Yeah.
That's close enough where you understand the association. Maybe you're not a stay-at-home mom, but you have kids. You can see yourself in that audience. That's the important message. What are you sharing now?
So this is another clip. I'm gonna let it play the audio. Let me get over there and hit unmute. This is Neil
Wait to
Patel.
collaborate with. First, if you're a creator, become known for something specific. Pick a niche and become the undisputed expert in that space. Second, if you're a brand, stop chasing follower counts. Partner with people who have real authority in your industry. Third, explore co-branded products. The future isn't just endorsements. It's customized products built in partnerships with experts. Expert-driven personal brands will dominate 2026. Entertainers without real expertise will lose relevance fast. Trend number 6, virtual influence.
So taking a page out of Jimmy's book.
Oh, really?
I can say things a million times. Nobody cares. Maybe if Neil Patel says it, people will listen.
Yep.
He just iterated exactly what we've been saying for over a year now. There was influencer marketing, then there were virtual influencers, AI generated influencers. He's saying, look, people are sick of that. Nobody wants to see some 20-year-old, drinking a latte. They want to hear from experts. That's us, licensed, insured, credentialed. Like, they want experts to give them the information that solves their problem. You can do that on social media. You can connect products to it. You can make money that way. Or you can directly collaborate with the product company. Come together to create the product that the consumer needs to solve the problem. And so this is where, like Joseph Lowe, Pure PT Supply, he and I came together on a pulley system because I had been doing pulley stuff forever. Now I have approved by a physical therapist or whatever it says on the box. My image is on the box. We have a collaboration in place. This pulley is on Amazon right now. I got an inbound message from a company, 2 developers out of China, but they weren't Chinese. They want to create a new lift chair. I became the lift chair guy. I didn't take a course to become the lift chair guy. I didn't get an APTA certification to become the lift chair guy. I said, oh, these are cool products. I'm going to check them out. I used them. I liked them. I started creating content. All of a sudden, I'm the lift chair guy. These 2 developers came to me and said, hey, we want to put a new lift chair on the market. We want to hire you. We want you to be our consultant, and we want you to be the face of the lift chair. Now, I said no to that deal just because they were in China, I'm in the US, they had non-disclosure agreements. It pushed me way beyond my comfort zone from a legal perspective, but it was an amazing offer. They were offering great money. They were offering me great, support. I have more to lose than I have to gain at this stage of my life. So I said, no, I'm not the right guy for you. Go find another therapist. But, Neil Patel is saying SEO is not dead. It's just changing. People are looking for experts and expertise. They want to consume that information. It's better to have 50,000 followers who value your opinion instead of 50 million followers who are just looking for entertainment. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I was just thinking, number one, it was good for those engineers to understand what they were good at and where their expertise stopped, where their domain of expertise stopped. Tony's not in there with the little things that soldering irons. He's not doing that to design a lift chair. Even if you were the lift chair expert in the United States, you're not the engineering lift chair. Now, pairing would be good, but they understand Tony knows how to, number one, you've got authority. You can say, I'm a physical therapist. Like, that means something, right? You don't have to, but that does help. That's it's like having the soldiers with all their patches and what each of those things means. It has authority. But then but you couldn't take the average PT and have them do what Tony does, which is, now I'm going to convey a message clearly, concisely, to get people to, and I'm going to use these 2 phrases again, which I've done before. Picture them in your mind. Pay attention, spend time. Look at those 2 phrases. Pay attention, spend time. What do the engineers want? They want your attention and they want your time. What do they have to do to get it? Pay and spend. Not necessarily always dollars, right? But effort. If Tony makes 50 videos for them, that's paying for that. That's investing in someone's time. Maybe there needs to be a 3rd phrase, like invest, pay attention, spend time, invest in relationships. I don't know, like something. But they recognize what they were good at. They got this great lift chair. How do we get people to want it? Is the internet, is this thing busy? Is this noisy when I look at these things? Yes, you have to cut through that. That's a skill. That is communication 101. Oh, I want to say happy
Um,
birthday. I just got a text message. This is where the world is weird. Amy McDevitt from AOMT. She's just like, hey, on social media, we're birthday buddies. So her birthday was yesterday. Amy,
Very nice.
we're doing birthday shout outs, Tony. We're a regular morning show.
The other person in that field, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, he was out yesterday saying again, if you have even a modest audience, 10,000 was the number he used. We're talking to somebody who's got tens of millions, but he said, look, even if you have 10,000 followers, subscribers, you literally could be making $1 million in the bank account by next year if you just go to, now his big push lately has been live social selling. Go on TikTok, go on, I think his platform's Whatnot. I've never used it. You had an experience buying something on a new platform that I had never seen before. We can discuss
I'm going to
it.
share that. Yep.
But the idea here is our credential, right? For me, the 2 letters, for you, the 3 letters after your name, it has different value in different settings and for different purposes. Back to the example, I can get a glass of water from the kitchen sink for pennies. I can buy a bottle of water from the grocery store for a quarter. I can go to the Reds game and it's $6 for a bottle of plastic water. My credential today, worth exceptionally more, promoting, sharing information, sharing my experience, helping individuals that are never going to be a patient of mine connect with the solution to the problem they have, whether it be a product or a service. That is where the highest value of my credential is and my experience. It is not what I'm going to go do in an hour and treat patients one-on-one. That is not the highest value that I could deliver.
Angela again chiming in, talking about what we were a second ago. She says AEO, answer engine optimization, versus SEO. She's close. The industry term now is SEO, right? Search engine optimization. Tony was just talking about that. I was looking at something on LinkedIn. Somebody sent me a job description, and it said SGO. Do you know what SGO? It should be GSO, but it was SGO because they wanted to be like SEO. Generative search optimization. Essentially, can you create an article that when it's crawled or when it's ingested by artificial intelligence, now you're in the running? And again, in the running is binary. There are no silver medals a lot of times now going forward. There's no bronze, there's no pewter, there's no 15th place. It used to be if you were on page 2 of Google, you were invisible almost, right? If I'm looking for an answer, right? Drive-in movie theaters near me. If you're on page 2, you might as well be 58th page. But now with generative search, if I'm asking for a specific question, AI is going to give me a specific answer. Can you optimize for that? Yes. Can you rig it? I'm going to say no, or it's going to be incredibly hard. Can you optimize for it? Experts are now selling this anyway. It was the first time I heard the term was this week. I'm guessing you must be able to optimize for it, because otherwise, how does the first term get selected and that's the answer versus the 15th? Yeah, AI is taking over SEO. Yes, we're talking about it's not necessarily dead, but yes, this is. I mean, I would love to see a longitudinal survey of January, June, and December of 2026. If I ask you a question you don't know the answer to, what is your first? Where's your thumb go? It would be like the thumb. What is your thumb flicking? Are you flicking Google, or are you flicking Perplexity or ChatGPT? So for me, if I want to know what time the coffee shop down the street opens, I'm still looking at Google right now. Ironically, I look at Google Maps a lot because that gets me to the hours and the directions faster than going to the website, reading the story of the barista. I don't care. If I'm looking for anything deeper than that, the answer is exactly what Angela is saying, which is generative search. Like that's how do you be the answer? What do you want to go with next?
I was just trying to find it. I can't pull it up real quick. If you go into your Google Analytics, you can see like my main traffic drivers to my website still Bing actually over Google, Bing, Yahoo, but somewhere in here there's traffic from ChatGPT. and
Oh.
I just can't see what the exact number is. It's off the screen.
But I would love, and you're like a nerd in a good way like that. I would love to see over the next 12 months when that goes from 0.2% to 28% to 60%, because we know it's going to. But most people listening will agree with us, and they will just not be able to do anything. They'll be able to do something about it, but they won't do something about it because it's effort. It's one more thing. I haven't even solved SEO. Now I got to worry about AI. It's like, yeah, I got good news and bad news. The world is changing. That's bad news. But it's changing for everybody. So we're all in a similar boat. Do you want me to talk about that website that like blew my mind?
Let's talk about that.
So I take my dad out for lunch on my birthday. We're just two guys, and I had the day off. And we're sitting at the bar at like noon, just having a couple of beers. And I'm doing something I don't normally do, which is I'm watching like the Kelly Clarkson show because it was on in the bar. Sports Center was also on in the bar, or whatever other sports channels, but they had like the Kelly Clarkson show. I have no idea what Kelly Clarkson is even on. And then it goes to another show. Again, the sound is off, but you're sort of watching people be interviewed and whatever. I'm watching football highlights from last weekend and everything's going on, but I'm watching the Kelly Clarkson show. And then it shifts to another talk show, right? Similar format, guest, funny things, whatever. The funny thing is across 3 shows, I was there for an hour and change. I saw 3 different shows come on. Across all 3 shows on the same network, they all had products they were talking about, and they were promoting this website, and I had never heard of it. And for the podcast listeners, the website is Morning Save. So all of them, every single show had at some point somebody got up off the couch and was like, I'm going to show you these Eddie Bauer fuzzy slippers. And normally, and again, sounds off. So I'm inserting a lot of commentary here, but it's saying like the normal price, Tony, I could get you these slippers. They're super soft. Your wife's going to love them. These are all plush. Look at that. And there's a bear on the top, and it's one of them says Mama Bear, or you could get Papa Bear. Oh, you know what? Get one for everybody in the family. Normally, Tony, listen, anybody else off the street wants these slippers. It's $98 because they're awesome. But listen, come here, real close, real close. For you right now, $25. And you're like, oh my God. Now that's a regular morning show pitch, right? So there's a couple things I want to talk about. Number one, all 3 shows were pushing everything towards one website, not 3. So this was the funnel. This is a great idea, and they're able to compound the attention. The second, I don't know if I'll be able to show it so easily, was the user experience. I had a couple of beers. It was my birthday. Am I in the market at any point during that day for fuzzy slippers from Eddie Bauer? Not really, until I saw them. And then I was like, you know what? I want to see. Are these really $25 if I go to the website? By the time I realized if I was or not, I now have, in 24 hours, I will have fuzzy slippers at my door because I accidentally bought them. The user experience from someone paid attention from landing to this website to checking out. Did I need to get up off my bar stool, take my wallet out, and look at my card and insert it? No, it was like, do you want to do Apple Pay or whatever other apps save my credit card? They understood every friction point in the process. This is a great microcosm. From sitting at a bar stool watching to purchase, everything was slippery.
So you didn't have to like put in your shipping address, put in your credit card number, put in your date of birth.
Do you ever use like the apps? Like PayPal does this. It'll be like, do you want to check out with like Apple Pay?
Yeah.
And then Apple Pay has my credit card information and my address and my name and the secret code, and it knows the code because it's allowed to use the code because of my face. So I used that. But had I had to reach into my wallet and do whatever, I most likely would not have bought the fuzzy slippers. But because, I was going to say smooth, this process from sitting on a bar stool watching slippers that I had no intention to buy when I walked in that bar to ordering them and they're in the mail already was slippery. That's the term I'm going to use. So the reason I'm talking about Morning Save and Kelly Clarkson is the process to land on the schedule at Tony's clinic as slippery. If it's not, how do we make it slipperier? If my process to get rebooked or get another session with Tony, if my kid gets sick and I got to reschedule, if that's not slippery, I need to make it slippery. And if you're saying it can't be done, Morning Save is selling slippers. Like, it can be done. And you might say, well, I'm a doctor of physical therapy. What I provide is more important than slippers. Then why haven't you acted like it?
So in that Neil Patel clip, not the one that I shared, but the longer version of it, he talks about this. He talks about how all of these platforms have gotten basically to just a single click purchase. They keep you on the platform. Even Instagram now has in-app purchase. TikTok has in-app purchase. And when I go back to Joseph Lowe, and he's making a big push to try and get PTs to sell more products, I see the barriers. The barrier in his mind. Now I'm going to put words in his mouth, and maybe we'll get him back on and talk again. In his mind, I think he's coming from e-commerce and retail. He sees how easy it should be.
Yeah.
Amazon, I click a button, it's there. Like, I'm ordering stuff every day. He's not making the connection because he's not a therapist. He's not in the therapy clinic. It is a ridiculous amount of work for me to freaking sell something so simple as a shoulder pulley set. My EMR is not a point of sale system.
Right.
It's not designed for that. I have to create codes to go into the EMR if I want to track the money that's coming in, if I want to process the credit card, like all of this stuff. It is a nightmare even to this day. And we've had this conversation on the show. I think the future, I know the EMR guys, they're working like crazy. They're working as hard as they can to create the best product they can. I still think they're all going in the wrong direction. And so give me an EMR that's just like 2 fields, 3 fields, especially
Right.
with AI scribes now.
Right.
I don't need 90,000 boxes. I'm not going to give every range of motion measurement in a separate box and blood pressure in a separate box and all of these things in separate fields. Give me 1 field. I'll throw everything in there clinically, but make it a frictionless environment. I had a guy text me on Thursday. He wanted to come in. He got hurt playing pickleball. I ignored the text. He texted me again on Friday. Friday, I only work till noon. I was like, it's 8 o'clock now. If you can get here by 9:45, I'll see you. That literally just done on text. That's the way it should be. But now what I have to do is go into my EMR, click on a screen to get the calendar, click on a spot on the calendar, click on the time on the spot on the calendar. It is so many clicks just to create an appointment. And then I have to put all this information in there. And I understand it's high compliance, high regulation, all this kind of stuff. But like the future EMR, it's going to be frictionless. I'm going to sell stuff. I'm going to have digital appointments and people can book for themselves, like all of these things. I can't, I don't know if I'm going to be alive by the time that ever comes out.
I think you will. Here's why. It's just moving faster and faster. EMRs now, this is not a thing of the future. They've got, do you have a kiosk? You don't have you're not the kiosk guy. You want.
I don't have I should, I don't.
You will. And here's why, because the EMR that you're going to use now is going to invent one, or you're going to shift to one that has, and all Tony's going to have to do is buy an iPad and put on a stand. Right now, the kiosk probably has 7 fields: name, address, insurance number, whatever. Too many. The kiosk of a year from now is going to have an AI person talking to you, right? It's going to scan your face. Welcome back, Tony. Or, hi, who are you? I don't recognize this person. Hi, who are you? How can I help you today? You might actually do it in a booth and not in an open area, so it can ask you some specific questions. It can ask you the initial subjective evaluation. Why not? Why not get the first pass at the subjective in the waiting room? Do it in a booth so it's a little bit more private is what I'm saying. But get that information. Hey, what's your insurance card? Do I need you to like take it out and read it? No, why don't you just hold it up to the camera and it'll scan it, right? Don't have it? Don't worry about it. I'll get to it. Flag that in the EMR. We need their insurance information that wasn't received at the kiosk mode. Like the stuff I'm coming up with right now, I don't think I'm the first person to think of these things. They're being done right now. The fact that they're not everywhere should anger all of us.
Ben is 100% right. Structured data, everybody wants structured data. It does make things easier, does make things better. And look, I'm just coming from my perspective as a small private practice owner. If I had 100 clinic locations, 1,000 clinic locations, if I had a different kind of business, there might be things that I need that these EMRs are providing. And I am far from the ideal EMR client. Like I am the worst of the EMR clients. So all of that being said, is there a market then for somebody to come out with an EMR that's just economized down to, okay, what are we going to do for somebody doing under $1 million a year that just needs bare bones, but the focus is going to be on these priorities.
Right.
Again, when I go back to before the EMR, I would do like an Excel spreadsheet that wasn't connected to the internet. Man, it was lightning fast to like copy and paste appointments, and I can pull all that stuff up together, So this is available today, like you said, not 5 years. Yeah,
all the things that we're saying are not like, I'm not inventing like, oh, there should be a thing where a camera can read numbers on a screen and absorb it. It's like whenever you do a checkout now, you just hold your credit card up to the camera. And what are CDSs?
I don't know.
It's saying the more you can layer AI on top of it for CDS. I'll have to Googleize that, or Ben, if he's still watching in real time. Yeah. Agree. Single practice, I would use ChatGPT and Microsoft Word. He's not wrong. I mean, that's pretty damn. It's more powerful than an EMR was a year ago. Now, EMRs with AI should be, but a lot of times a lot of EMRs are like, if you came into my house and you were going to put central air in, it didn't have it, you're going to have to blow out the guts. You're going to have to, sheetrock is going to be everywhere. The EMRs that have been around for 2 to 3 years who started with AI, in my opinion, are going to have an advantage because it is about slipperability. It's about smoothness. That's the thing people are looking for.
Now, again, I will say the EMR today, it allows us to operate. We would have paid 3 salaries 20 years ago to accomplish what I do with one kind of part-time salary, like 1/3 of an FTE. So the EMRs have come a long way. I applaud what these guys have done. I don't see as much of it because I'm not on the back end. I'm not on the billing side. The people doing the billing, they love it. They appreciate it. But it's still not where it needs to be for frictionless, like schedule anytime. But, and then again, a million caveats today. Look, I don't need a structured schedule. I don't need you to show up. I had a patient, I pulled into the parking lot at 7:30. Patient was scheduled at 8. I'm like, what are you doing? Let's go, get in here. Like, come in. You don't need to wait to the minute of your time. People are like, I got a guy coming in today, bus driver. Is like, well, I finished my route at 9:30, and then I pick up my next route at 11. I'm not sure exactly when I come in. I tell them every time, like, look, come in after 9:30, before 10:30, we'll see you. So like, I am not the typical environment. I am not the typical practice. I've employed those therapists who are like, I won't see you until the minute your appointment starts. And if you're 2 minutes late, I'm going to reduce your treatment time by 2 minutes. That's not us, but that is a lot of what therapy is. So nobody is going to build an application for me.
Right.
But I'll say something somewhere needs to be, changed.
Ben was saying, he was helping me out. CDS, critical decision support. So, if you see, if you select a template for a knee eval, it might give you like a CPG. In the future, when you're using an AI scribe, if it hears something, it might flag. That's a red flag when that person mentioned calf pain after surgery. You might want to, and of course, could just be a reminder. So it's not saying that the therapist wouldn't have picked that up, but would 100 out of 100 therapists picked it up? If the answer is not 100 out of 100, having a little bink. We've got a minute left, but here's a crazy idea to think of the future. I think the smartest EMR organizations or billing revenue cycle companies, why they're not, and maybe they are, but I just wasn't seeing it, why they're not hiring or making consultants out of actual billers confuses me. Not a focus group. A focus group is a bitch session. It can be helpful, kind of. I've never found it. That I call those things Frankensteins. When we try to do creativity and focus groups, what you walked out with was an idea that appeased 8 people. It's a shitty idea. You watered it down. It's a Frankenstein. It looks like a man, walks like a man, doesn't talk like a man. It's not a man. But you know how many times I talk to people who actually do billing in practices, and I would be like walking them through, and they're like, yeah, but does it do this? Does it do that? And I had to say no or not yet, or hadn't thought of that, where I'm like, damn, if I could say yes to every one of those, you don't have to sell anything. Give me your top 10 bitches about the thing that you're using now. Bang, 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 bang. I'm going to sit down. We're going to walk through this, and I'm going to remove every one of those. And then you tell me why we shouldn't be doing this right now. Parting shot, Tony.
Parting shot. Your expertise has far greater value on a one-to-many framework than a one-to-one. So there are lots of ways for you to reach people that would never be able to work with you directly, but you could still benefit them, impact them, help people. And in the process, you can make a whole lot more money helping a whole lot more people.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing. I'll piggyback on that with the new idea that I'm launching, and we can go deeper. We sort of spitballed it. We'll wait for Dave. We spitballed it on Tuesday. I already have a landing page, Tony. Probably too much. We probably should go through it and strip it away. But when you write it, it's hard to delete. When someone else writes it, it's easy to be like, no, that doesn't need to be there. But the idea is I'm saying the same thing right now to associations, parts of APTA, and businesses, which is, I think the thing you're lacking is not another course. I'm not saying don't take courses. What I'm saying is, how do we make that spread? Ideas that spread. That's Ted's tagline. I wish I could steal it. But I've got my own tagline, and we'll share that on the next episode, which is, I think you just have a communication issue. It's simple to solve. Takes effort, right? We're gonna have to invest in this to take effort. And that's where I think a lot of our colleagues are falling short. Have a good weekend, man.
Same to you.
And we'll see. Dave will be back. He's gonna put some honey on the throat, and he'll be back with his buttery voice and his slicked hair. It's gonna look good. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Hey, insights from PPS. Tag us if you see something cool. I would love to just take a picture or do something. Tag us. We'll bring it on the show, and maybe we'll reach out to you for comment on why it was, and have fun down there at the Rosen Shingle. Not a great name for a hotel, but maybe it is for PPS. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.